right, guys. Welcome back. Happy Thursday, aka Friday Junior. We're your hosts,
Yes.
Amaris and Kathy, to the moms, and this is part 2 of In My Son's World, where I'm going to talk about my son's journey with autism. We last left off August of 2022, right before he started school, pre-K 3. So now we're going to pick up from there. So those of you who didn't listen to the first part of In My Son's World, I quickly talked about how at 15 months, I suspected he was on the spectrum. By 2.5 years old, we got a medical diagnosis. He was already in early intervention. He was already getting outpatient speech, outpatient occupational therapy. So with all that, that was great.
Yeah, things moved pretty quickly, right? Once he turned 2.
Yeah, things move completely quickly. And if you are a fellow autism mom or autism parent, you know getting a formal diagnosis takes forever. But luckily for us, it took like 6 months. So I'm very grateful for that.
Did you know what to expect? Had you done your research as far as like the first steps in getting the diagnosis and like treatments and all that? Like, did you know what to expect?
So, no.
Or
Like,
not
if we're
really,
talking
yeah.
about when I got my formal diagnosis, no, I had no idea what the next steps were. However, in his ADOS reporting towards the end, they give you, I forgot what's it called. Like, it's a paragraph after the diagnosis. It says what treatments should be done. So they recommended speech, OT, and ABA. We were already in outpatient speech and outpatient occupational therapy. So, I kind of was in the ball game. And at that time too, it was coming towards an end because it's episodic care. So you have like a certain amount of treatment, and then once it ends, you take a break, and then you go back for a re-eval. So we were already at that point. And then ABA didn't start for us until kind of in the middle of the school year, which I'll touch base on that. But even getting into ABA, that takes forever, which again, I'm going to touch base on that. Touch base on our ABA journey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the listeners need to know.
Yeah. So then once he completed early intervention, we got him evaluated through the school. He's eligible. He's on an IEP. So that brings us to September of 2022, first day of school. I was so excited for him, but I was so nervous because this was going to be the first time him out of my care.
Yeah. Did you cry?
Oh, God, yeah, I cried.
I feel like any parent would cry, right?
I cried the day of when he went on the school bus, and mind you, he went on the school bus happy. He was fine. He did not cry at all. He was so happy. He was so freaking happy.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm so happy.
That's awesome because most kids are like, they're scared.
They're scared. They're nervous. They don't want to be without mommy and daddy, but he was good. I think that made me cry even more because he showed me that he was ready.
Yeah.
So he does have a tracker on him. I will say that. He does have a tracker on him, and it's probably one of the best things we ever purchased for him because he can't verbalize where he's at. God forbid something happens, So we were able to track his route. And after he went on the bus, we ran to our cars, strapped Cyrilla in the car seat, and we were following the bus.
Of course. I would have done the same thing.
We followed the bus until we saw his bus park right in front of the school, and I was sobbing on our way home because I was
getting teary-eyed.
I was sobbing. Oh my goodness. And then we're home and I'm crying even more. And I think that day I didn't have breakfast. So Abraham went out. He got some Dunkin'. We were eating donuts, having our coffee, having our breakfast with Cyrilla. And I think I was crying up until it was almost time for him to come home. So we got the notification, he just left the school, and I'm tracking it, making sure, understanding what route he took, and he was so happy.
Aww.
So from there I was like, all right, good. So I don't have to worry about him and school, we're good. So we finally get a routine down, and I don't think in the previous episode, I don't think I said that outpatient speech and outpatient occupational therapy ended, but it ended. And as I said earlier, it's episodic care. Like you take a break and then you have to get a re-evaluation. So we got the re-evaluation for occupational therapy and speech. Now, one thing I do want to point out, we couldn't go to the same place that we went to because almost every therapist there, they're on some sort of leave of absence. Someone hit their head. So many people went out on maternity leave. Like, it was just so many things
just so happened during that time. Yeah.
It was like such a weird season for them. Yeah. So I was able to get in through occupational therapy, thankfully. So that was great. And it's like literally down the street. But for speech, I had to find a different speech place. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's probably a wait list. And there's always a wait list for all these therapies. I did find a place that was able to take him right away. So we've been with them ever since. And they also recommended for him to be evaluated for an AAC device. So this was... And
do you want to explain to the listeners real quick, like what that is?
Yeah. So an AAC device, let me quickly Google, because I don't want to mess up AAC,
the terminology.
Devices. So an AAC device is an augmentative and alternative communication device. It's a tablet or a laptop that helps someone with a speech or language impairment to communicate. So the outpatient evaluator said that they want to get him evaluated through the insurance this way he can get the device because they saw potential in there. So I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, you know, we were doing PECs at the time and, you know, he was doing PECs in school too and they saw improvement. So in October of 2022, I got the speech evaluation. I sent that over to the school and his school speech therapist was like, hey, can I give you a call today after school? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So she calls me and she says, I noticed in the evaluation they want him to get evaluated. And I'm like, yeah, you know, for the AEC device, they really think he has high potential to like use it. Then she's like, what if I tell you that you could probably get a free device through the school? Like the school can do the evaluation for you. It's free. And if he's eligible, you will have to wait half the time to get the device and also get it for free. So I was like, sure, why not? So we did that. I think like in 2 or 3 weeks, he got evaluated. In like 2 weeks, we got the evaluation that he is eligible. And then I want to say in the middle of December, we received his AAC device. And I'm like, that is amazing. How
from September to between September and December. Wow.
Yeah, like he was able to get his device, and this takes months for parents to get it through. One, to get an evaluation through their insurance for their insurance to approve of it, and then to get a device. There are so many parents that they go through like months of fighting with their insurance to get this device, to get it covered or to get partially covered because it's expensive. It really is expensive. So I was so happy that she really was looking at his best interest to get the device that he needed. So in the middle of December, we got his device. He was already working on the device in school. So
he was familiar with it.
So I was very thankful. So now in outpatient speech, he was using it there too. So not only was he using it in the home, at the school, but also outpatient speech. So I thought that was amazing that everyone was able to like really use it with him.
Yeah.
So that was great.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
I remember how excited you guys were for that.
Yeah, because and when when his outpatient speech first told me that they did want to get him evaluated, I told Abraham, I was like, listen, I've seen TikToks, I've seen mom posts about these are expensive, so we really have to start thinking about like maybe we want to purchase it and not go through, like I was already coming up with like a plan to get this device for him.
And didn't you tell me too that with that device it was like hit or miss for some kids, but Thane was able to pick, like it actually like worked. It helped him.
So well, that's why they go through the evaluation to see, for one, if they are at that level of using it, and he was. He was.
Yeah.
When they were practicing with him, like the whole modeling without expectation, he was picking it up really quick.
Oh, that's good.
Really quick. So, I'll give an update with that later on in the episode.
Yeah.
So jumping back to November of 2022, that's when that is when we get a call from the ABA clinic that we were interested in like going to, that they found a BCBA for him, and she was going to evaluate him to see where his skills levels are at, you know, the whole ABA like testing. So that was the week of Thanksgiving. So I'm like, all right, so we're kind of in ABA, kind of, because this whole time since we got the diagnosis in February of 2022, we've been waiting for this time. So months.
Do you want to explain to the listeners, like really quick, what ABA is?
Yeah, let me Google that.
Yeah.
ABA, what is ABA?
Just so, you know, people are not like, what is she talking
about? What is ABA therapy? Okay, so ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis, which is, I guess people also call it behavioral engineering. It's a psychological intervention that applies approaches based upon the principles of respondent and operant conditioning to change behavior of social significance. The goal of ABA is to improve social skills by using interventions that are based on principles of learning theory. ABA therapy helps children on the spectrum by increasing their social abilities, like completing tasks, communicating, and learning new skills.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that's the
gist.
That's pretty much the gist of ABA. So, I met her. She's nice. You have to go through like a bunch of questionnaires to answer as part of their like testing. You meet with them, talk about like your child and what their strengths and like weaknesses are, what you want to like work on with them. And then I think the last part is for them to physically work with them. So I think that took like an hour in the clinic, having her see what his strengths were and kind of just test him on certain things.
Yeah.
And then December, I also like informed her about how he has an AAC device. And she's like, that's great. We work with kids, you know, whatever communication devices that they're using. Like we do work with them with that. So at that time, we weren't able to commit to ABA hours. Now, if you know ABA, and when they're young, it's very intensive. They want to get close to like 40 hours a week.
40 hours?
Yeah. So like parents, so I had the option to either do full-time ABA or preschool. We chose the preschool route, you know? So if you kind of like think about it, it's like when they go to school, it's almost close to like 40 hours a week. Some parents, they choose the ABA route because they want them to gain those new skills, like, you know, potty training. We all know I'm like having difficulty with like potty training.
That's like so much for a 2-year-old.
It is. And that's where the whole controversy comes. Like, you're putting 40 hours on a kid to
I didn't know it was like that. I did not know that it was that many hours. Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes it could be 30 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours. We had to get close to 10 to 12 hours. And I'm like, all right. At the time when she first came out, we couldn't because we had speech. We had speech Mondays and Tuesdays, and then occupational therapy on Wednesdays. So we couldn't even get close to 10 hours. Once occupational therapy ended, because it was episodic care, that gave us more room. So once OT ended and they were able to find staffing, that's when ABA started for us 10 to 12 hours a week.
Okay.
And I want to say, when did that actually start? I think that actually started for us January, April or May of 2022. Like, it started like late. Because
2022 or 2023?
Oh my gosh, 2023. You're right. Yeah. My bad, guys. I forget the year like changes.
I know. It's fine, girl. I thought it was 2024 the other day. Like, I wrote it on. I know.
2024? Wow.
I don't know why.
Maybe you're just ready for like the new year.
And the other day, someone asked me like when Grayson's birthday was, and I said August 4th, 2023. I don't know what's wrong with me. I got the years all mixed up.
Oh, that's so funny.
But anyways, continue.
Goodness. So by now it's like April 2023, and ABA is finally starting. Like, we have a behavioral technician come over. And I think when ABA started for us, it was just a lot. Like, it was
overwhelming.
A whole schedule that you had to get used to, because we already gotten used to, school schedule.
Yeah,
he leaves at 2:30. He's home by 2:45, coming from the bus. He's doing great. He's doing amazing. His IEP. I don't want to say IEP scores are improving, because I don't think that's the correct terminology, but his progress. His IEP progress is like doing well, and I'm grateful for that. So once ABA started, it kind of was just like, wow, we're going to sleep later. You come right off the bus, and ABA starts like in 15 minutes.
That's like a lot for a young child.
It is. It really is a lot, because he goes to school full time. Then Mondays, he had ABA until 5:30, and then would leave our house to go straight to speech for 30 minutes at 6. We'll come home by like 6:45, and we had to get bedtime like ready. Tuesdays we didn't have any ABA because speech was like right in the middle of it, so like we couldn't commit to hours. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, ABA hours were 3 hours once he came home.
I wonder if this is standard throughout the country. Is it, or is this just like in the state of New Jersey? Or
from what I understand, ABA is like one of the most available therapies that you can get. It's one thing that insurances will cover 100%.
Has it been around for years, or is it something that's fairly new?
This is. I mean, I might get canceled if I apologize in advance if I'm saying things wrong or interpreting things wrong, but this is just what I understand based on
You're still
the
learning.
amount
You're
of
still
TikTok.
very new to this, Amaris, so don't even beat yourself up.
I'm still learning, guys, so give me some grace. But from what I understand through TikToks and through autism mom groups, ABA first started as like a conversion therapy, I think, for the LGBTQ people, and then I guess they started on like the disabled people, trying to make them normal, trying to make them typical. So ABA gets such a bad rep because, I think the person who created it, was trying to convert like the gays to be straight and stuff like that. And then he started like, or she or he, I don't really know. I haven't dug that deep because I just kind of don't want to. But ABA did start it off bad. It does have a bad rep. However, I personally feel like it has evolved to something better. Instead of like, I want to reverse your autism to, I want to work with your autism and give you the the skills needed to, for instance, how to use the bathroom, tying your shoe, how to wait in line, being patient, how to not be so aggressive when you're upset. But I think the evolvement changed a couple of years ago. So,
I was gonna say, because it, how do I say, like, autism, not that it's new, but it's like, I feel like the resources are available more now than ever.
Right.
You know, like, we didn't have resources like that, I feel like, growing up. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also, I think what you're also trying to say,
and there's more awareness now too.
Yes, because when I was going to school, like, I didn't know what, like, autism was. Even when I was in college, and that kid would always come up.
It wasn't like talked about. Yeah, even things like ADHD, things like that. Like, I feel like that's just now coming to the surface, and people are becoming more aware.
Right. And I also think it's because, like, us parents, us millennials, we're making other people aware of it, you know?
Yeah. And we're advocating more for our children now more than ever. Whereas before, if your child was showing signs of, certain, behavior, parents, they just didn't really, not that they didn't care, but it just was like, I don't know, like they just saw it as something like, oh, like they'll grow out of it. Like, they didn't really take the time to advocate, I feel, for their kids. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Yeah,
as far as like the older generation and now.
I totally agree with that, because I've been told, like, oh, I read articles and I read that they can grow out of it, and people will be around, they're like, they don't grow out of it, and I'm like, yeah, no, they don't grow out of it, they just learn skills that make it seem like they grow out of it, but, like, no, you're autistic forever. You just learn skills, how to, like, use the bathroom, and how not to get upset because you're waiting, like, for forever in line.
So people are more aware now. Even in schools, I'm sure. I mean, back then, like, teachers didn't really take the time to, like, really focus on kids, students' behavior. Like, they would think, like, oh, like, so and so is showing signs of this, like, let me let their parents know. Like, I don't think that was a thing.
No, that wasn't a thing. And also too, like, a lot of it's, well, not a lot of the times, back in the day, it was, autism was a boy's disease.
Yeah, same with ADHD.
Same thing with, so it's like, no, now we've come to learn that it's anybody at any gender, literally. Everybody can have that, and you would have to learn how to give them the support that they need. So I do think the awareness and the acceptance, it's, evolving and becoming more aware. I feel like I'm saying, like, aware and aware, but I don't know, like,
what else evolving. Like, I feel like we're not fully there.
No,
but, like, we're getting
there.
To where we need to be. So that's all about ABA. My understanding of ABA. Please feel free to chime in the comments or wherever you're listening to provide insight, because I'm still learning. I can only go off by what I'm experiencing at the moment, what I see on TikTok, and what I read on mom Facebook groups. Some of them scare the shit out of me, and others, they want to bring awareness. And I remember I did not tell his speech therapist at the time, or even his, like, teachers, that I was thinking of ABA, because there's this whole, like, stigma, oh, if you put your child in ABA, you're going to give them trauma and X, Y, and Z. And as a first time mom, like, that's my first kid. I'm doing this for the first time. No one else in my family is dealing with this. And it really, like, I have such a huge knot in my heart when I tell people I'm in
not me personally, but I put thane in ABA. The amount of times I've been told by like family members, don't think about ABA because it's not great. And then it pisses me off because it's like, you are constantly telling parents, don't do this, don't do that, but you're not telling us what we should do. You're not telling the next
like what's the alternative?
Right. Oh, it's DIR, which is I think floor play. Okay, is that covered by insurance? Is that coming out of pocket? What facilities are doing floor play? So if you're gonna go out and make comments and tell me not to do something, you better tell me what I should
like
do.
What you
So it really
because you're trying to figure this out on your own.
Right. And like
that's frustrating.
It's so like it was very frustrating. So when ABA finally started and we had a behavioral tech, like I would just sit in the living room with Cirilla making sure that everything is fine, because here I'm told ABA is abusive, it's this, it's that. So now I'm on edge Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If abuse is happening, I like purposely made it in my home, because a lot of parents say, well, if I were to do ABA, I will have it home based in the home so that I can keep an eye on them. So now I have this like mindset, like I have to keep an eye on you. I can't trust you because the people who have been through this before me is telling me this, and I have to listen because I have like, it's really just so mind-boggling. And like there are days I I cry because I'm like, am I doing the right thing for him? Should I have put him in school? Should I have just put him in an intense ABA program? Should I do like, it's very, very overwhelming.
And on top of also taking care of Cirilla.
And on top of
those
that,
3 times a week
while
observing the ABA.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And don't get me
wrong. I don't know how you do that.
There's days I don't know how I do it too. And I feel like that's why I think that's why sometimes like I just have to like stay shut and mute in like certain social settings, because I'm just mentally exhausted. Like I can't be in outings and like have a full-blown conversation.
I know,
because I am just so mentally exhausted, whether or not I'm doing the right thing, seeing things on TikTok. And then it's like, I appreciate the advice and the suggestions and the stories that these content creators are creating, but for me, like that's not my experience. Don't get me.
I get you, and it's frustrating because you want to advocate, you want to show awareness, and you want to educate people, but at the same time you're almost walking on eggshells because you're scared of saying the wrong thing,
right?
Or, mixing up the terminology or whatever the case may be. That must be really, I get it.
It's so hard. Like I won't forget. I think it was like before school has started. I see it's autism awareness acceptance day. I think it's like April 2nd. And there was this mom that posted, am I supposed to use the infinity sign, the blue heart, the red heart, the puzzle piece? Like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm just like,
because people get so like offended and they get defensive, and
like, and I understand. I think you don't want to use a puzzle piece because I think Autism Speaks, they're actually trying to change people with autism. Like I fully don't understand. So it's like, okay, I don't like, what am I supposed to do? And I appreciate that the admin of that page was like, I don't care what symbol you use, it's not right or wrong, it's whatever you're comfortable with. And I appreciate
that's the way it should be,
so much, because that's how it should be. So use the blue and red heart because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Remember when I was doing the an Instagram post for the first part, I was on Canva and I was like, I don't even know. Like, this is not my place to make this post because I don't even know. Do I do the infinity? Like, I'm not even gonna.
Right.
So I kept it neutral because I didn't know, like, what was right, what was,
Right. And I hate that it's like that because it really shouldn't be like that.
No, that's really sad. That
it really shouldn't be
the kind of community that it is.
And I over the weekend I sent you that post about like I forgot how she like worded, but like what makes us mothers so like nervous being in the autism community. Then there's, you're not allowed to call yourself autism mom. You're supposed to say mother of an autistic child. Let's not say special needs, say high support needs child. And I'm just like,
it's like a lot of things to remember. Like, you're doing the best that you can.
I'm going crazy. I'm literally going
crazy for you right now. Like, what the hell?
Like when we made the first episode afterwards, I was like, oh my God, I said autism, my son with autism. And I'm like, I don't think that's what you're supposed to say. I think I'm supposed to say autistic child. And I was like beating myself up for it. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I don't have anyone guiding me with like anything. I'm literally just learning the best
you're
that
not
I
trying
can.
To prove. Who are you trying to prove?
I don't know who I'm trying to prove. And then I go into like this, you know, sadness. Like, what happens if Thane, you know, understands and he's like, no, like you offended me by saying autism or not doing this way and that way. And now I have all this trauma.
No, that's not going to happen.
That's what I worry.
I think eventually you can teach him that people, like, everyone's going to say something. Everyone's going to think one way, and that's okay. Like, there's no, yes, there's right or wrong, but like you have, I don't know.
Like people are going to prefer,
trying to say, honestly.
people are going to prefer certain things that aren't similar to your preference, and that's okay. That's the accepting part. And
you took the words out of my jumbled brain.
I'm trying to be there.
You always get what's going on.
All right, I'm sorry for that whole tangent. I just been waiting to get that out there because there's so many times I say like autism and I'm like, oh, you should have said that. Oh, you're not going to be welcome in like the autistic community, blah blah. And I'm like,
no, I think you need to stop focusing so much on that. And at the end of the day, it's just you're just focused on Thane and being the best mom and advocate that you can be for him. Fuck whatever everyone else thinks. Like, you're just stay in your lane, girl. Yeah, just stay in your lane.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. So back to regular scheduled program. So the BT is over, and I will never forget this moment. We're working on like he needs to sit at the table to like eat, and I remembered everything the BCBA had informed the BT to like do, and like there are certain days, you know, in times like she wasn't doing what she was told, and I'm like, okay, let me give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, she's new to all this. Okay. Come to find out, she actually works with kids on the spectrum in school. That's her second job that she has. Her boyfriend has a child on the spectrum, so I'm like, okay, like she should get it then. I'm no longer going to give her grace. Right. So as there was one day, I cut up watermelon for the kids, and it's something he can hold in his hand, right? He didn't have a bowl or like anything. It's in his hand. And we're working on sitting at the table when he eats. However, his BCBA said if it's a fruit and it's soft, you know, let's not require him to like sit. Let's require him to like walk around. So I'm still in the kitchen because
why? What's the?
Because so the reason why we're working on with him sitting at the table is because when he's eating rice, chicken.
No, yeah, I get that, but like didn't you just say with like a fruit, watermelon, like walking around?
Yeah, so is that what you said? So Thane loves movement. He'll take.
He does. Yeah,
move around, jump around.
Right.
So if it's a banana or something soft, like a popsicle, it's fine. Like she's like, I'm not for it. She didn't want to like complex things where everything that you're eating you need to sit down. It's just when it's mealtime.
So she's trying to show him like the difference.
Yeah, and that's what the BCBA told the BT. Like, this is what we're going to like follow. So I'm in the kitchen still cutting up watermelon for Cyrilla because I actually have to cut it through slice cubes for her, whereas Thane can just hold it in his hand. Yep. And I hear her say, okay, Thane, come on, let's sit down. Thane, let's sit. Thane, sit. And then I hear him freaking out, having a meltdown. So I stopped what I was doing and I went over and I see the watermelon is no longer in his hands. it's in his BT's hands. So obviously she took the food away from him. He's freaking the fuck out. I have to stop parenting Cirilla so I can console him. And at that moment, I'm like,
that's not the way to do it.
What
do things.
The fuck?
Regardless if you're autistic or not.
Like
that's not the way to, like, he's 2 at this point, right?
No, he's
still 2? No, 3
going on 4.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, like, obviously I didn't see what happened, but I can speculate what did happen.
Yeah.
So I finally get him to like calm down, and I grab the watermelon from her and I like put him on the couch. I'm like, here, we can sit on the couch to like eat, okay? And then after that, like, I didn't know like what to do, and I think I end the session early. I'm like, a lot is happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end the session like now. Like, I'm pretty exhausted. So then that entire weekend, like, I didn't tell anybody what happened because I was still trying to process what had happened. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, like, this happened.
Like, is this how it's always going to be?
It's always going to be like this. I do know that as they increased the goals, some increased meltdowns will happen because it's out of their routine.
Of course, yeah. Then they're learning.
But like taking the watermelon out,
that's too extreme. I get that's the goal, like for him not to have it in his hand, but you can't just abruptly like you're working with him on something, just take it. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, that doesn't sit well with me.
So from what I understood is if you're trying to direct them to get it done and they're not listening, then you just put in your report.
Yeah,
did not cooperate or something.
Red flag. Red flag.
So so that entire weekend I was just like sitting with these emotions, like, oh my God, like, what's going on? I think I didn't say anything to his BCBA until like a week later. And I was like, listen, something happened. It doesn't sit well with me. Moving forward, you will not take food away from like his hand. Like, I'm not sure if that is written in his plan or not, but that is not something we are doing. She's like, oh my God, no, that was never supposed to happen. I'm gonna talk to her, blah blah blah.
Oh my God, the fact that they're aware like that wasn't supposed to happen. And I was
just like, well, that's the BCBA. The BCBA and BT, they're two different people. But the BCBA, she is not always present. She comes like twice a month for parent training, and she'll come to like observe the BT to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do, what's written in this plan, because the whole reason of them doing all this like testing with the child is to write up this report, and whoever the BT is, they have this report to read. So if you forget what you're supposed to do, you read what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then a couple of things happened. I mean, we can sit here forever, but a couple of things happened that Abraham was like, no, like, she should not be asking him, what do you want? And he's freaking out. Like, you stop, get him to like baseline where he's calm.
What do you want? Like, I don't even be asking Grace, like, any kid, like, it's just, you have to word things a certain way,
and if they're having a meltdown, you give them a second to calm down, and then you're like, are you good, are you okay? So Abraham's working, he's like, what is going on? Like, why is he freaking out? And I'm like, I mean, this is happening, like, what am I supposed to do? Because I also don't think it's my like right to be like, hey BT, you should not be doing that. I think like who am I? Plus they're also coming
they're
to my
the professional
home.
Right,
they're supposed to be like trained and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, okay. So then I remember school is ending, and I'm like, I do not want this girl to be with my son for the summer, because every time he just did not seem happy. Like he would see like the girl and just
he would get anxiety.
Grab my hand and be like, all right, come on, like let's go. And I didn't want that. I want him to be excited the way he's excited seeing his BCBA, going to school and seeing his teacher. Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah,
And I
so
wasn't
something
seeing
was
that
off.
So I'm like, no, like for the summer hours, I do not want her on his case. Please find me someone else. They found me someone else. But before I go on that, it is June 2023. He is 4. He's doing so well in school. He had 5 IEP goals, and he surpassed each goal. So I was so happy that he improved so much. His communication, his verbalization has increased between using the AAC device or verbalizing, and we're just so pleased with the school year because he had such an amazing school year. He improved well. He loved it. So we knew school was like number 1.
It's working, yeah.
So now it's summer, and summer hours at the ABA clinic is now in session. Okay. And the number 1 goal I talked about was potty training, because I want him to be potty trained. I think that's a skill set that unfortunately needs to be done, and I wanted it implemented so by the time he enters the school year, they can carry it over. Well, July 2023 was hell for us for ABA. The person that was put on his case was absolutely terrible. Never showed up to work.
This was the guy, right?
The guy.
Yeah.
The guy.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I judged him so hard, and I was so right. I was so right about the first one. I judged her, and I was right. And there came a moment, I think sometime in July, where we sent an email and we were like, this person needs to be off his case because he's legit just not showing up to work. And then
did he show up the first day?
So the first week he caught strep, and he was sick. And I'm like, all right. The second week we were on vacation. So the third week of July, he would show up a couple of days, call out.
And how was he the days that he did show up?
The guy or Thane?
The guy.
He was like, oh, hey, buddy. Like, he would get down to his level. Hey, buddy, are you ready to play? Okay, come on. Like, he seemed hopeful, but he didn't show up to the work. So I'm like, Diablo, like, all you have to do is show up to work on time, which he would never come on time. Like, we were always waiting for him. And that's a problem that Thane has. Like, not a lot of kids.
You're letting a kid down.
Yeah.
Like, that's not right.
Like, he's like, we're there waiting for you. There are days where I'm like, we're gonna show up late, or still did not show up.
Wow.
Or I'll get there. He called out 5 minutes ago, so we have coverage for him. There was
How are they still keeping him employed?
Like, all you have to do is show up to work, read a document, care.
Yeah, but at that point, that him being absent just showed you, like, okay, he just doesn't care. So why would I want to have this person come anyways at this point?
Right. So there was a last straw for me, and I was crying because I'm like, how dare you accept a job, go through the training, and go through a whole process to determine that you're not going to be dedicated. I don't understand how a person can go through all that process, do the job 1 or 2 days, and then just not show up late. And a child that's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Kids in general, not just kids on the spectrum, but kids in general need a routine to strive and have better days. So the fact that you just didn't simply care drove me insane. So we wrote this email and we said, we need someone else. We're not showing up to ABA until you have someone for us that is like great. Within a couple of days, they did find someone that was amazing, and she was amazing. So the month of like August, she was working on potty training with him, was able to like use the potty twice. She truly was great. She was so freaking great, and I'm like so grateful for her. But she couldn't stay on his case because her full-time job was at a school. So she's only available in the summer.
Yeah, so at this point, like, you're going there, it's been 3 of them. Oh my God. So you're going on 4.
So, well, I don't have
in
a matter of,
well, yeah.
Yeah, but in a matter of what? Like,
a few months.
In a few months, I want to say like what, 6 months? That has been our ABA journey. So because that's how our journey is, I told Abraham, I'm like, I don't see why I should drive myself crazy week after week giving you guys hours when all you've given me was shitty ass people. And I understand to an extent it's not their fault, but to an extent it kind of is, because the company is hiring these people. I don't know who is training them, and you're putting them on my case. From what I understand, they go through training in the clinic, and you're observing how they are. So it's kind of just like at any given moment, like, you then come and say like, we're gonna switch someone. I don't know. I know there's also like a whole business side to ABA, because at the end of the day, it's
like with anything,
business, with like anything
in life.
So I'm not willing to give more than 6 hours a week, because no. So because of that, we're not in ABA.
So you're firm that you're not going.
So I'm firm. I'm not gonna give them more hours throughout the week, because honestly speaking, it's been like shit, and like I just don't want to go through like another headache, you know? Like I just don't. I love his BCBA, and I think, you know, the clinic that I picked, they're better than like most. But I'm not, the way I see it, because I've been told to like shop around and stuff. But the way I see it is, if I'm not willing to give you more than 6 hours during the school year, why would I look for other places when I'm going to be placed on a waiting list? Because that's another thing with ABA. It's a long wait list. And because of his age, most places, they expect 15 hours or more, because they're like early intervention, you know, intense hours, you know, they'll learn and stuff. But no, I'm not going to give you more of my time and more of his time, because at the end of the day, he deserves to be a kid. He deserves to have fun,
you're right.
Run around, enjoy his life, not being in therapy after therapy. If he was enjoying it and if it wasn't driving me crazy, 100%, absolutely. But right now, no.
No, you don't want to stress him out.
No. So now his BCBA only comes out twice a week. So like every other week.
Twice a week.
We're working on things that need to be focused. So at first it was potty training, but that has been hell for us. The school doesn't really want to help us out either.
Did you implement any new techniques?
So his occupational therapist, I kind of gave her everything, and I truly do trust her. She's been with Thane since day one, so I always make sure I go back to her, because she just understands. She told me to create a visual for him. Maybe he needs visual tokens or a visual routine of like what is expected of him. She also told me to get him to relax. So she's like, maybe all the singing and like reading books might be too overstimulating for him. So like, brush him. So brushing is it's actually nice. You should do it to Grayson. I don't have a brush with me, but it's a medical grade brush that you can get on Amazon. It's very cheap, and you start from the shoulder and you just brush. And you're just like, brush.
Oh, you need to send me this.
Yes, I actually have to get more. And you're just brushing from like head to toe.
And it works? Like it relaxes him?
It relaxes Thane. Like Thane would be like,
I need that for Grayson.
You do.
Because we're going through hell right now.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. If there's one therapy you guys need to get, occupational therapy. Find a place that has ongoing services, because it is amazing. The things that they're able to like teach you to get your kids to come down or to like understand is like great. So she told me to get him to relax, you know, brush him. And there was not to have the TV on. She's like, TV is probably overstimulating him, and he's not what word did she use? Pretty much he's not communicating and understanding like what's going on with his body. So when he has to go, he just goes, and that's how accidents happen. She also told me that Cirilla should be out of the house, and it should just be, you know, the parents and like Thane. But like that's hard because like
that's very hard.
And she like knows that. She's like, if you're willing just to do it on your own with Thane and Dad, take you know, daughter, that's great. So we're gonna try to like implement these things.
Okay.
I actually created a little visual on Canva.
Oh, did you? I haven't seen it.
And then someone told me you could have gone on teacherspayteachers.com to get pre-made visuals.
Oh.
So I'm like, yeah, I usually use that website to print out stuff.
You can purchase through Canva.
Oh, I can?
Yes, and it's like the prices are good. I did my Christmas cards there.
Really?
My antique online boutique antique shop business cards. Yeah.
Huh. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
But
the prices are good.
I have a laminate machine that I haven't opened up yet, and I have to set it up because I had all these plans when I had the free trial on Canva for them to work on their pre-writing skills, tracing, and all that stuff. And I was supposed to work on them with the summer, and I couldn't get.
Oh, that's so cool!
Laminator.
Is all that stuff on Canva? Like,
yeah, well, not on your Canva. It's on my Canva, and I did it while.
No, but like just in general.
Oh yes, yes.
Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
So you could probably start working on it with Grace and trying to do like, you know, circles or like something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Canva is amazing. It really is. But teacherspayteachers.com, I think that's a website. They have all these like materials for like different grade groups, and I'm like, why didn't I think about that? I wasted like
really smart.
A whole afternoon of not cooking trying to make a whole thing. So
I mean, but that's kind of cool too, because like you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I did have a little pride.
I need to get a laminate machine. I'm putting that on my list. Now I'm like intrigued.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So to end ABA, because I know I went on like a little ranty. I am pro ABA when it's suitable for the child, suitable for the parents, and you are working with someone who like truly cares. So
because I mean, you guys had that 1 month that, you know, I guess maybe it just depends on the person.
It is. It all depends on the person. The person truly has to care.
Yeah.
And the girl that Thane had in August, she was amazing on her last day. I like cried and I said, I just want to say thank you so much for being amazing. Thank you so much for caring, and thank you so much for showing up to work. And she's like, stop. And then she was crying and she was like, your son. She's like, your son is a great kid. It was a pleasure working with him. Yeah. I've already told them whenever they need coverage for him, I would try my best to like come here. But your kid, he is amazing and he is great. And I was just like, thank you so much. And he liked her too. And I told her,
that's huge.
I'm like, he really did like you. We would go home and I'll be like, oh, you know, today we're going to go see Amanda. He'll be like, Manda, you know, and he's not with like everyone else. He'd be like, no, Michael, or no, blank.
He's so cute.
No. So, and like, I'm sorry, you're communicating with me that you don't like these people. So I never felt, I mean, I felt a little guilty, like saying, no, get them off my case. But at the same time, like I didn't, because if you were great at what you were doing, we wouldn't be in this position where I feel like you gotta go. You gotta go. But yeah, so that's the ending of summer of 2023, and now we're in pretty much present time, September 2023 school year. The only thing I have to say is I have no idea what the fuck Thane is doing. And that really makes me upset because the teacher isn't communicating, this is what we worked on, this and that.
Really?
Mm-mm. Like I have to, we had to ask her. So September came and we got like nothing, no pictures, no updates, and none
Is that just, I guess that's just how the school is?
I don't know, because his PK3 teacher, when school started, we got pictures and messages every single day. Then throughout the school year, yes, every single day we got pictures.
And now you're not getting
and now anything? We're not getting like nothing. So I don't know if it's her personality style. I don't know if it's because she has more kids in her classroom. Like the girl has 7 kids. But not for nothing, you also have 3 assistants. But I also get some of the kids are it's a new thing for them, you know. And I know towards the end of the school year of last year, his teacher said that if they give the kids a direction of what to do, they don't have to worry about things. He listens, he does it. Doesn't have to worry about him. So I have a fear if that is continuing in the school that she doesn't have to worry about him. So are you spending less time with him? Are you assuming Thane can get like this done? Fine. Let me focus my time on like someone else. And I just don't think that's right. But I'm also speculating. So it was I don't know. So it was back to school night, and it's just like the teachers talking about like what they're doing in the classroom, communicate with me if you have any questions. She seems nice, and I was told that I was gonna love her, but I kind of don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was told that you're gonna love her, and I don't, because the girl she's not talking to me. She's not communicating with me.
Yeah, so how are you supposed to know that
I have to ask?
She's doing I
have to go and ask. Like, I'm sorry. I get you're a teacher, you're underpaid, you're overwhelmed, X, Y, and Z. I get it. But my child's on the spectrum. I need to know what you're working on in the classroom so I can implement it at home.
Yes.
And I'm not doing that. The only thing I've been doing is implementing OT stuff and speech stuff. And his speech therapist, who's different this year, isn't communicating with me either. And I'm like, I'm not the type of, Abraham and I were not the type of parents to wait until conference to ask. Like, I'm not waiting in the middle of December
to
need
to know. I need to know.
So...
And then you're wondering yourself, like, am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? Am I not, like...
Right. And
you don't know.
I don't freaking know. Or when his outpatient therapist and BCBA asked me, so what is he doing in school? I have no idea. The teacher doesn't ask me, but what is it that you like to know? And I will go ahead and ask. So I feel like a dumb fuck, because it's like, here you are asking me questions that I should know.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh my God, here we go.
That's frustrating.
I'm
sorry.
It brings me back to when I first met with his developmental pediatrician, and he told me that my school district isn't great for special needs kids. Did I ever tell you about that?
Maybe.
He said, if you were at a different township other than where you're located now, I wouldn't worry, but because you are there, you're gonna have to fight for services and support. And
it's such a shame too, because I don't know if you know this, but New Jersey is one of the top states as far as like
and that's what I'm told by other people.
Am I saying it right? The autistic. That's what I'm told. Like, I'm in this New Jersey group. Like, people move here from like across the country because New Jersey supposedly has the best programs, the best resources, and it's such a shame that you're not getting the best of the best where you're at.
Right. So it just brings me back to that moment, and Abraham tells me just tune him out, because so far everything has been great. It's just who knows like what's going on. They also changed like platforms, so I don't know if it's that where she's adjusting how to communicate with families, also trying to be a teacher and do lesson plans and X, Y, and Z and blah blah blah.
But then how's his like behavior at home? Like do you see any improvements with him? Because if you do, then something is being done in the school.
Right. So I do know something is being done in school, because if you think about it, all the behavioral and like skills that he should be learning in ABA, he's not learning it in ABA. He's learning it through school.
Right. We're talking so much.
Yeah. So I know it's more than just us having outpatient speech. I know something's going on in school, so I like look back on that. But I guess as a parent, like I just
you want to be aware. You want to know. I get it.
Whole night. Afterwards, Abe was like, very quickly, how is Thane doing? And she's like, he's doing amazing, verbalizing, talking, not aggressive towards the kids. He's legit an angel. Like, I absolutely adore him. So
oh my God.
I'm like, all right, okay, fine. Like, all that is happening. And that same night, I ran into his speech therapist, and I'm like, "You're the speech therapist, Amy. Hi, how is he doing? Amazing. He's doing so great." I'm like, "Is he using his AAC device? What's going on with that?" "Oh, I've just been modeling with it. He is verbalizing so much. Such an improvement from the summertime that she had him last year." I'm like, "Oh, great. That's all I need to know. Thank you so much." Thanks. So it's September, and I think the beginning, in the middle, no, now we're in October.
We're in October.
We're in present time.
End of October.
Yeah. Right, yeah. But I had reached out to his teacher. You know, I'm like, "Hey, would love to know what's going on in the classroom so I can implement it at the home. I'm really about that. Is there any aggressions happening in the classroom with them?" Because aggression was happening here in the home. She tells me no aggressions whatsoever. If a child comes to him and he doesn't want to share his toys, he'll just pick up his belongings and move someplace else. So
yeah, he does do that.
He does do that. Okay, good. I was like, "So there's no pushing?" And she's like,
"Yeah, that's great.
There's none of that." So I'm like, "Okay, great." So he's being kind to others outside of the home. It's, you know, just a sister that we had to work on. But I'm starting to think it's just like, that's my sister. Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
as I'm sure Adam and like Angel, they were like that with, you know, Abraham and like you and like vice.
Oh yeah, me and Adam used to freaking, oh my God.
Yeah, so
we used to go at it all the time. It's a sibling thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, it's a sibling
like,
thing.
Maybe don't think too much into it.
Yeah, you know, and just stop doing that, thinking too much into it.
Yeah, because you know they're siblings.
So they're gonna happen.
Fight. They're gonna and they're almost like around the same age. So
yeah, they are already bicker now. Like, they're like legit yelling at each other. I'm like, yo, teenagers right now, like, come on. So far so good. His verbalization and communication is increasing, it's progressing, it's getting better, and I'm just so happy because his voice is so nice to hear. I love when he's able to sing. So he's been on a Dory kick. Like, Finding Dory is his jam. So in the beginning of Finding Dory, they're, you know, teaching Dory not to go past the undertow. So it's like, we see the undertow and we say, let's go. So he'll be running around just saying that whole time perfectly clear. And I'm just like, wow. This morning he woke up stretched and he's like, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And I'm
I love it. It's like his personality is coming out, you know, like it's in there, you know. It's so funny.
He's so funny. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And
like, that sounds like something that's something like that you would say.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's kind of like getting some of you in there. It's so cool.
he does the thing. He'll be like, oh, and I'm like, why does he do that? And then I'm talking to Abe, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, motherfucker.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
He does his like little like thinking face stuff. No. I'm like, hey.
That is so funny.
So you could see his personality coming out, and it's so cute. It's so funny.
Aww,
it's great.
I love that.
Or when he'll say, I want date. I'm like, okay, you want date? Here you go.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I want 3 dates. 3 dates. And then,
like, Mom, stop being stingy, okay?
And then he'll be like, 1, 2 dates. And I'm like, just 2 dates. 4 dates. And I'm like, okay.
Like, make it 4.
Here's your 3rd date. And then he'll like run around. I'm like, yo, he's funny. Really, like, negotiating with me.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Oh my God.
That's funny. Oh my God.
Oh goodness. So yeah.
I love that.
I'm very, very happy that we're still in speech therapy because we're at a place that is ongoing, which makes sense. Yeah. I don't understand episodic care. Like, what
that makes no sense.
That makes no sense. But I'm so happy because at the speech place that we're at, he sees 2 different therapists, and the logic there is they have their own unique strategies to work on the same goal. And because of that, I feel like he's able to verbalize and meet his goals faster because he's working on it twice a week in speech differently. And it's, it's just great to see. Every 6 months, he has a reevaluation, or I think they call it a reassessment. I think it's a reassessment. And to see like where he is, as terms of, do we have to increase this goal? Do we have to tweak this one? Do we have to keep working on this one? So we're in that process right now. So this is his this is his third reassessment with them, and it just continues on. Insurance is still covering it. We're still paying, the copay. But it is great to see that he is with people that he cares about. He looks forward to being with them week after week. He never shows us like distress working with them. And I would say
that's great
to parents out there, if your child shows distress, that is a big communication that they don't like that type of therapy, or they don't like that type of person.
Right. And that's huge.
It's huge. So always observe your child in every settings. Like I am in, it's either Abraham or I, we're sitting down watching the therapist work, because that's how we learn, that's how we implement in the home, and that's how we update each other how we could do things better. So I'm just thankful that I have that opportunity, that I'm able to like, again, work with him. I feel like I sound like a broken record when I say I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to work with Thane, to attend therapies, for my husband to be willing, to want to learn, to implement, to take him to these appointments. Because don't get me wrong,
it's great. You guys are both home too, so that, you're able to do that. Thankfully,
So we're just so thankful. And as I said in the last episode, Thane is so lucky to have us as his parents, and I'm so lucky to be his mom. So I'm so lucky, so grateful, and we will do anything for our kid.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure he has such a successful future, him and Cyrilla. So that brings us up to our present time. I don't know where the series will take us, because I feel like I talked about ABA when I when I wasn't.
No, I mean it's ongoing. We can continue talking about it and your experience, and we could even do like a check-in,
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. But yeah, guys, that's all I have in today's update with Thane's autism journey. I'm excited to share more with him throughout the time as more updates come in. There's any parents out there that has children on the spectrum, my nasal is getting like on point. Spectrum. Children on the spectrum, definitely give us a follow. Teach me some things. Tell me some things that like worked for you guys. Right now, I'm in the stage where potty training isn't really working out for us. There is a desire. There are green flags that he's ready. So any tips, any tricks that you guys did, let me know.
Let us know.
If there's anything that you want me to talk about,
any questions
you have, like, send them over. I would love to answer them. I would love to learn. Like, I'm just all about in this. Give me the information so I can learn. So I can assess whether it works for my family or not. I feel like now I'm going on a rant, but thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Yes, the next one. Bye, guys.